welcome back. As mentioned, yesterday marked the commemoration of the men and women in blue. However, Police and Prison Civil Rights Union Popcru says there isn't much to celebrate, as many members of the force are facing a myriad of challenges. Spokesperson Richard Mamambolo joining us this morning. Richard, good to have you back on eNCA. Appreciate the time. So while we celebrate and also pay tribute to those who've lost their lives in the line of protecting South Africans as well, there's a lot of issues that don't get spoken about at commemorations. Good morning. So first of all, before we talk about issues, what did you make of the commemoration?
Look, commemorations, well, isn't the one that took place yesterday. It's a good gesture, but we feel it loses meaning when we all know that immediately after this commemoration, you have the families of these members going home and, of course, living in squalor and poverty. And that is what the case, that's the case currently. One of the things that we think that should be done beyond just commemorating so that it becomes meaningful is that there should be an increase in the death grant that these members are currently getting, because most of the police officers who get killed in the line of duty are police officers who are young and are establishing families, so they would have young kids. So the grant that they're getting would not even take the kids to school. What we want is that there should be resources that would assist these youngsters to go through schooling. So that is a problem, and we feel that it's something that the government needs to address.
When it comes to addressing these issues, though, what you've just mentioned now, Richard, is not new issues that Popcru have been fighting for. When is this actually going to sit before the relevant authorities to have these changes come in? Because these calls have been made for a long time. Is anyone actually listening to Popcru?
Indeed, these are issues that have been obviously discussed. And I think, we've got platforms wherein we engage with the employer through bargaining councils on a regular basis. And of course, there have been many decisions taken and yet not implemented. So we have been following the proper procedures and feel that they are not resulting in anything positive for our members. Hence, we are going to be having a national march on the 20th in the next 2 weeks to the union building because we feel that the different ministries have not been responsive to all these challenges. So again, I think it's quite important to remember that it was announced yesterday that currently there are 33 police officers who had been killed. So what it basically means is that next year again we're going to have a similar event, a commemoration again, where their names would be put on the wall of remembrance and their families being paraded, and then after that they obviously fall into that level of squalor. But we do have solutions, really. We're not just condemning what the ministry is doing. We think that they should also be, beyond having a danger allowance that should be standing at 1,500 now, which is currently standing at 400 rand. We think that there should be a danger insurance so that immediately when anybody gets into the police service, there's funds that go into that insurance, and of course the CPF contributes, so that in such instances where we lose members, then there's sufficient funds to take care of the families, especially the kids. So those are simple solutions that we think could be implemented, but there's been a lot of stubbornness within this department.
Richard, just as I say goodbye to you, last question. There's a lot of money being spoken about. I don't think there's much argument that police officers need this and even more financial support, of course, but there is only a limited amount of money in the budget and in the fiscus. Where does Popcru suggest this money comes from?
Look, the president, again, if you want investment in the country with such a high crime rate, you will never succeed. So it's in the best interest of investment, even the private sector, to have more police officers being available to ensure that investors come to a safe country. Now, the president announced in the 2019 State of the Nation address that we need to have violent crimes within the next decade. Immediately after that, just before the former finance minister left, he announced that there would be budget cuts within the SAPS, which of course demonstrate that they do not take this matter seriously, because currently in this year alone, they cut the budget by 11.8 billion, and next year again the budget is going to be cut by 15.7 billion rand. So the staff complement of the SAPS has been reduced from 190,000 to 150,000 currently. So how do you expect that police can be everywhere to ensure that they deal with the crime situation? So there are a lot of underlying issues that as much as we can listen to the speeches of the president yesterday, which is a nice speech anyway, but the reality is that all those things that are being said are not happening. The opposite is happening.
Yeah, it's about the money in the end, and this is the issue. Budget's being cut, but there's calls for more as far as danger pay and danger insurance is concerned. We'll keep a close eye on how Popcru is able to navigate this. Richard, I appreciate your time. Popcru spokesperson Richard Mamambolo joining us here on eNCA.